So when you were sent back to 1937, what happened back then on that base? Why is everyone in the quarantine outfits?
There's an alien base.
Ah, there's an alien base. It's okay. Why are you upset? It's okay. Remember, you're just observing. You're just observing. Would you rather step out of the scene and just watch it? Or do you want to keep experiencing it? Let me know. There you go. Remember, you're just observing. You're just observing what's going on. I want you to tell me. Remember, we're exploring, and there's no fear. You're not in any harm. You're just exploring. It's okay to cry, but I want you to still make sure you know where you're at and what you're doing. Are you in that MyLab program? Or are you in a past life? You can't tell, huh?
Is this part of my life?
He looks confused. So did you say that it's an alien base? Is it under the Edwards Naval and Air Force Base? He'll tell you.
Underground. Yes.
Oh, very good. You're underground. And when he says that you were sent back from the future,
Aliens in a lot of pain.
there are extraterrestrials there that are in a lot of pain.
I can feel them.
You can feel them there on the base, huh? So you're very super sensitive then, huh? I want you to, the officer that you're speaking with, is he an officer or is he a...
Are you an officer? No.
Okay, and he's an airman?
He's not part of. He's a private.
Understood. So tell him that you're bilocating. He'll understand that, and you have some questions. And don't worry, no one will ever know.
I'm bilocating right now.
That's how you're back.
He says, okay.
And that's why you're here to get information. That's all you're here to get information. And it's for you personally. You're doing it by yourself.
He says, okay.
And ask him, could he please explain this base under Edwards Air Force and Naval Base, this alien base? Could he please explain what's going on here in this facility?
Research.
Research. And ask him when he says that you have already been sent back. So it's 1937 now, but you were sent back to 1957. So that's 20 years. You were there for 20 years?
Yes.
So you were there for 20 years. Okay. And ask him, what was your role there? intuitive empath? I can tell you're empathic if you can feel the ETs that are there and you can't see them and you're not around them, but you feel them. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you say they feel like they're in pain, huh? And he said that you were there to influence, and ask him in what way? He'll explain it. Go ahead and let him talk.
To make them feel comfortable.
Ah, very good. So you had a calming effect on them.
He says I am one of them.
Ah, you are one of them. Ah, very good. And when he says that he sent you back, how did he send you? When they say they sent that you had already left and been sent back.
Because I have a tie to them.
Ah, you have a tie to them. Are you a hybrid?
Yes. But not in this body.
Ah, very good. Ask him, can he go ahead and explain your role a little more?
Can you explain my role better? More detail.
You're just gathering information, that's all. No one will get in any trouble.
He says I would hang out with them. I was very involved with them. They were my friends.
Very good, very good. Was there things that you had to do that you didn't like as your responsibility?
My personal responsibility.
Your personal responsibility was to, nice and clear, remember you're recording everything.
Just to be there.
Oh, very good. Before he leaves, I want you to ask him, what is his name, please, with his title, Private who?
Richard.
Private Richard?
Richard Byron.
Byron, very good. I want you to,
He doesn't have a title.
but he's a private though, correct?
No.
No. So,
Private citizen.
he's a private citizen. Is he a research engineer or a doctor or? What's his position?
What is your position? He says I'm like you.
He's like you?
Yeah.
So he's working with the ETs now and he's wondering what you're doing back there. Is that what it is then?
Yes.
And so you were there for a full 20 years.
How long was I here? 17 years.
17 years. So you said 1937 to 1957. That's 20 years. And while you were there, you say you were there to influence.
To influence them. They had to do it.
They had to do what? And what is he doing there now? What is he doing now?
He says, well, you trained me.
Ah, very good. Understood. Understood. And what is your name?
Tell me my name.
He knows your name.
What do you call me? I don't know, I'm not sure. I'm giving a lot of different names.
That's understood, but tell him the name that you used just while you were there for the purposes of your job. You know it's high security, but how did he refer to you as? Were you a doctor?
No.
You had special talents and gifts and you were training them to use theirs? Or just in the position that they had?
Yes, in the position. They're like me.
Very, very good. Now I want you to go ahead, just thank him and tell him, don't tell anyone that you're there, and he won't. He knows what you're doing. He knows how talented you are. And just let him go ahead and get back to business, to work and what he was doing. But what I want you to do is, we're going to move to
Paul.
Paul. That's your name?
Yes.
Oh, very good. All right, Paul. Paul, we're going to move to where some of the extraterrestrials are, where the aliens are. And I don't want you to be alarmed. They're going to know exactly what you're doing because they're very well aware of your abilities. And I want you to be there in a count of 5, 4, 3, halfway there, 2, almost there, and 1. You were there. Now where are you?
I'm in a lab.
You're in a lab. Are there other people in the lab?
Yes.
What are they doing in this lab?
Monitor.
And they're monitoring
The aliens are in a vat of liquid.
They're in a vat of liquid. Are they submerged?
Yes.
Are they alive?
Yes.
What do they look like? No one can see you except maybe the aliens. That's it. What do they look like?
They look like they're sleeping, but they're not. They say hi.
Ah, they recognize you? Very good. Are they pretending like they're sleeping?
They just have their eyes closed.
Ah, very good. Now I want you to, when I say describe them, not do they look like they're sleeping, a physical, just literally describe them, whether they're arms, legs, head, whatever.
They're really tall.
Very tall. How would you say very tall? How tall?
10 foot.
Oh, 10 feet.
They have long heads.
Long heads. Do you remember the movie Independence Day?
Yes.
Heads like that?
No.
Okay.
No, they're not. They're like humanoid.
Ah, but just long,
Slender.
slender heads. Okay, long, slender.
Their bodies are slender. My hands look like go up into a point.
Onto a pointed head, almost like when you see pictures of Egyptians with the long heads as such.
They're not that.
Okay, very good. And what is the name of this particular species? Paul, what did you guys call them?
That's two different things.
That's okay, you just give me one of them. Remember, we're recording everything. Just for your own personal records.
What do you guys call yourself? They just put this image in my head.
And?
It's this beautiful light. Can you put it into letters, please? L-A-R-Y-N-X.
I knew that, Larynx. Very good. And where are they from?
What planet are you guys from?
Planet or system? Whatever.
Or whatever. What system? Spell it, please.
Good.
Lyra.
Lyra. Very good. They're from the Lyra system. And how are you connected to them?
I miss them.
17 years is a really long time to interact with them. I want you to tell them that you're bilocating and you're visiting.
They know.
They already know.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. And tell them you knew that something like this had happened, and now that you're in 2016 and you're coming back in another life to figure out what is going on, what are they saying?
They say that they're proud.
They're proud of you? Oh, very good. "17 years with them." And we'll ask them, you've forgotten a lot now that you're in an entirely different incarnation. Could they fill in the blanks for you? Because you have a lot of questions.
Okay.
First, what was your position there? What did you do? How did you interact with them? They'll tell you.
What did I do to... What was my role?
Were you able to communicate with them?
Yeah.
You were able to communicate with them. I'm going to have to put my psychic abilities to work here. So you were able to communicate with them. So you relayed information back and forth between... So were you working with the government then? Or with a secret program? It had to be secret if you're underground.
Yes. With secret program. It wasn't government anymore.
Understood. And ask them, are they being held captive?
They're okay with it. It was what
They're okay with being in captivity? Is that what you just said?
they knew.
They knew when they came to the planet that it could possibly happen?
Yeah.
And are they learning from this experience?
And they're sharing.
And are they sharing this information back with their species?
With humans.
Oh, they're sharing with the humans. How long do they live?
How long do you live in Earth years? 7,000 years.
And how long have they been there in captive?
How long have you guys been here? In Earth years? 5 years? 4 years?
And what year did they come to the planet?
1919.
And did they come in a ship?
How did y'all get here? Tell me how you got here. Ship. Big ship.
And did the big ship crash? How did they...
No. They just got dropped off.
Oh, very good. And do they live underwater? They live in the water?
Do you normally live in water? They said they can go underwater. They don't live in water.
So when they were dropped off, were they literally dropped off there at that base as to share information,
No.
or they were captured?
It's a lot of questions.
They say this is a lot of questions you're asking?
No. What were you doing when you first got here? Getting used to it. How did you end up in captivity?
Okay, they're used to a lot of questions. Understood. Loud and clear. There in the Carolinas?
Where were you when you were found? No, it was north on the border.
North on the Canadian border?
In the forest.
Oh, North Forest.
Somewhere in the forest.
Okay. And had they known you for the entire 17 years that you were stationed there?
Yes.
And while you were there, how did they get the technology to be able to, or maybe I may be mistaken. You say at first when you got there the year was 1937, and then you met the gentleman, and he's Private Richard Bryan, or the private citizen Richard Bryan, and he said that they sent you back to 1957. So that means you traveled through time, then, is that correct?
Who am I asking?
I'm asking, do you have, now that you've been here for a while and you see all these things and these beings that you've known before and you've worked with, is any of your memory coming back to you at all?